Todd Jones here. I'm the host of the podcast, Press Box Access.
Check out this clip from my conversation with Charles Pierce. We know Bill Belichick for his mumbling, as well as his grand success as an NFL coach. Pierce tells us about the times when Belichick didn't mind talking. All right, you mentioned coach. Is it Belichick or is it Brady?
I think, gun to my head, I'd say it was Brady. But it was Belichick who saw him. It was Belichick who rolled the dice, benching a multi-million-dollar allegedly franchise quarterback for a sixth-round pick from Michigan, whom nobody had ever heard of. So it was Belichick who put the defenses together that allowed them to win that first Super Bowl. It was Belichick who put the teams together for him. And he hasn't done a very good job of putting a team together for Mac Jones. I think by and large it was Brady, but it was Belichick who was the architect. And I think the difference at this point in the long view of history is so infinitesimal that it's almost not worth talking about.
Yeah, it's chicken and an egg. It's the combination.
Yeah, it was a very happy, horses for courses kind of collision of an ideal coach finding his ideal quarterback. A defensive coach, right, by and large, finding his ideal quarterback.
How did you deal with the Belichick press
I
conferences?
didn't. I sat there and listened to the game. The guy's going to say, if the guy's going to say nothing, you have nothing to report. It's an easy job. But I'll tell you, when I was doing the Brady book, I put in for an interview, a sit down with Belichick, and he said, "I won't do it till after the season." And who knew that? Luckily, that was the year they lost to Denver in the first round of the playoffs. So the season you go through the Super Bowl, and I wasn't getting one of my crucial interviews in February with an April book deadline. But he gave me 4 hours in his office to talk about Brady.
Really?
Didn't dodge one question. Disagreed with me on a lot of them, on my perceptions and my interpretations of what happened, but never no commented me. Talked football, and boy, can that guy talk football. Oh my God. If you're lucky enough to get him started on both the history of the game and the minutiae of the game, you will get a PhD before you stand up.
Well, that's so funny to hear. Like, you can't shut
Bill
Belichick up.
Once a year, he takes the beat writers and whoever other media people are there into the film room, and he does a seminar breaking down film about what he wants to teach you about football.
Well, Paul Brown
I think that Bill Belichick does it because he knows Paul Brown does it, because he's probably
right,
one of the 5 NFL coaches who knows who Paul Brown is.
It's sad.
And
the modern father.
Yeah, but still, the guy in L.A. or the guy in Philadelphia knows who Paul Brown is. Yeah.
By the way, the Browns fired both Paul Brown and Bill Belichick. Think about that.
Well, Belichick had to live through that, and if he ever gets started on it, he's very funny about the last year in Cleveland, in the last home game, where they were ripping the seats out of Municipal Stadium and throwing them on the field. Apparently,
so you're sitting there, and Belichick,
the level of hatred for Art Modell in that last season, when everybody knew he was moving the team to Baltimore. Apparently, that was just unprecedented in NFL history. At least Belichick thinks so.
But again, the idea of Belichick going on and being effusive with writers is almost comical to think about, because we've all been around him in press conference settings when he's basically like trying to talk to a pillar of salt. When he's engaging, that has to be quite a memory for you as a journalist.
Well, I just remember that the one day that he did the film breakdown, the year I was following the team, he brought us in and he ran a bunch of films about from his days as defensive coordinator for the Giants and films of games they had played against the 49ers, which was, that was the clash of the Titans back in the day. And he ran one play and he kept running it over and over again. It was a 49ers had the ball in about the Giants, I don't know, 15, 20-yard line. And he kept running it and he kept saying, look, here's so-and-so, and he's top pointing the Giants defense. He says, he's doing exactly right. And this guy over here is doing exactly the way we coached him. And look at this. This is exactly the way we did it. And then he ran the film to the end, and Jerry Rice makes this spectacular catch at the flag in the end zone for a touchdown. And Belichick shuts off the tape and shuts off the film and says, sometimes you do everything right and the son of a bitch just makes a play.
Yeah, exactly.
And I thought to myself, I mean, you talk about a guy who has his job in the right perspective, and I'm, because I'm sure after that, Parcells was all over him for letting Rice get open or something. And he kept saying to us, look, he's doing exactly what we said. That's the way you guard Jerry Rice. And, Rice turns around and jumps 9 feet in the air and catches the ball, behind his head and comes down with it and keeps his feet in bounds.